Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. It is a bit of a spontaneous one. I have decided to do a daily review of today's price movement. Yeah, and then also before I get started with the review, I just wanna kind of quickly rush through how I get into trades or what I'm looking for when I'm about to get into a trade on an intraday time basis, if that makes sense. So usually my ideal setup for a bullish day, I would like for the London session to stay below the New York midnight line, and I would also like the New York 830 to open below, if not below, anywhere closer to the New York midnight line if I'm looking for a bullish day. And if I'm looking for a bearish day, I would like the opposite to happen. I would like the London to go higher and stay high to where the New York 830 opens while we're still above that New York midnight line. That gives me more confidence in the direction of price for that specific day. I do also take into consideration the new week open, because there is also a way that price moves during the week. We usually will set a high of the week either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday sometimes, but more often it sets the high on a Tuesday and will probably set a low on a Thursday ish. It just depends on how price delivers around that time. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on to the review. I have already drawn some stuff just to kind of speed things up. Okay, so on the daily time frame, this is today's candlestick. It's closed. We've created a fair value gap down here, and that is my point of interest for now. So I'm going to move into the 4-hour. On the 4-hour time frame, I am seeing equal lows right here between this low and this low. We have created equal lows. We also have a fair value gap right here. We also have a breaker block. I'll consider this a breaker block right there as well. Now, ideally, I would like price to push further down for a deeper retracement to get into a discount, but sometimes you don't always get that. Sometimes you see price reverse right at this because of the breaker block. So we could use the breaker block as a classic support and resistance level if you wanted to think of it that way. All right, let's move down to 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, if indeed we do get a deeper retracement, I would like to see price come back down into this fair value gap right here, as we do have an order block right here supporting it. Okay, today's price movement, we opened and we pushed higher, filling this fair value gap completely, and then we took liquidity here, took liquidity there, and sitting in this order block currently. Okay, a couple of things that I would probably expect or want to see, or possibilities of price movement, would be London session coming, taking these equal lows out and sitting in this fair value gap right here, and then potentially moving to the upside, as Tuesday would have probably set the low of the week. If we do set the low of the week on a Tuesday, that's what I would like to see. But we also have a fair value gap up here, so price could also during London session wick into this fair value gap and then sell back down into this fair value gap right here, and we would probably close low. Tomorrow is a red folder day, so we could see both of these possibly happen. We could see a wick up into there and come all the way back down here, or we could see a wick back down into here and then push all the way back up. You never really know what's happening until you look at what the London session is doing, or or if you have news at 8:30, you wait for the news to hit and then react off of that. So that is some possibilities that I hope to see tomorrow. I'm going to go to the GU because I did have an entry on GU. Okay. So if you remember yesterday, I said I wanted to see GU come into maybe as high as that, but we could also, just like I said with DXY, could also find a reversal between this order block right here. Okay. Let me try and explain. Let me move to my entry time frames. I use the 5 minute for my entries. Let me try and explain this entry. Okay, I'm going to turn on my indicator. It's going to get slightly messy, but I hope you guys can follow. Okay. Alright, so this big yellow dotted line right here is my weekly open. The orange box is my Asian session, the red is my London, the green is New York AM, the white is lunch, and the blue is New York PM session. So what made me, I wasn't too sure on whether I should be looking for buys, because remember, as I said earlier, I like to see London push below the New York midnight, which is this blue line, and I like to see the 8:30, the yellow line, which opened all the way up here, open down here if I'm expecting a bullish day. But we do have instances where um, the London comes below the what do you call this, the New York midnight, and then pushes up and takes liquidity. But usually when that happens, when we take a high, we tend to come back down below the New York midnight, open below and push. If not below, we tend to come anywhere near the New York midnight and push to the upside. But we didn't get any of that today, so I was a bit iffy, though I did use other forms of confirmation for a buy. So if you look to your left, right here, we had a market structure shift very impulsively to the upside. And if you look at this leg, this came back down rather correctively. And you could say this was a market structure shift right there, or you could use this one right there. But I would have probably said, if you use the smart money concepts, you would have said market structure shift here and then market structure break there, leaving displacement here, and then we have a pullback taking liquidity there right here. If you look at the 1 hour, this entire thing here is just a wick, so we do kind of still close within that, within this low right here. Okay, so that's what gave me a little bit more confidence to look for buys. Now, how I look for my entries is I use the shift in market structure with a fair value gap, and then I wait for price to come back into that fair value gap and buy. My entry was supposed to be anywhere in here. I would have loved it to be anywhere in here, but I got slipped in as I used direct execution, and my entry was somewhere around this area here. So once I get into a trade like that, I would be looking for previous day's high, which is this line right here, as a target. And as you can see, we did get to that line right there. We have closed high for today. So what I would be expecting to see, let me go to the 1 hour, because on the 1 hour there's a fair value gap that I want us to get back down into. So if tomorrow we are not creating the high of the week, then I would like to see price probably come back down into here during the London session, and then push back up, taking this liquidity right here and sitting into this order block, or potentially wicking above it before seeing price start to push to the downside. That's just one thing that I would like to see happen. Another thing, another possibility that could happen is around London session, we could push all the way back up here, creating the high of the week possibly, and then start to push to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at for GU. For EU, we're sort of looking at the same thing really. Push down into this fair value gap right here, and then possibly take liquidity up here and sit within this order block right here, and then look for signs to sell. Okay, and then I'm just going to give you an example of how what I mentioned earlier about what I like to see on a bullish day. I will be going to my entry time frame. This is oil, by the way. So ideally, if I am bullish for the day, I like to see the 830, which is this yellow line here, open below the New York midnight. Look for a fair value, look for shift to market structure, which is there, fair value gap, which is down here, and then we can buy and push to the upside. That's if you are looking for a bullish day. As you can see, we had market structure shift right here, and then we came back right below that and you bought. Sometimes we don't come back as deep as this. Sometimes we could come back anywhere around this area, which is good enough still if you are expecting a bullish day. Alright, so I think I'm done with the daily market review. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share the video if you want. Like I said, this is all new to me, so I'm kind of still working through how I want to deliver this information to you, but along the line I will probably structure it better because I still feel I am all over the place when I make these videos. Alright, with that being said, thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video.